One lone strawberry left. I finally got rid of the snails that were eating everything. Now the strawberries are taking a downturn. Okay, these tomato plants are indeterminate. I swear they should have had taller support. These are Mountain Pride tomatoes, and I've never had those before, but they're growing, so hello. Good. One weird thing. Those peppers, the peppers over here, I already picked one, and there's that one on this side, and then there's another one over here. Let me tell you, that came from a seed packet of bell peppers. Guess what? They're not bell peppers. I've already grown peppers from that seed packet, and they were interesting bells, all colors, purple and white and orange. And the same packet is now producing hot peppers. How does that happen? That's just weird. That is so weird. My Quicksilver rose is doing really well. The one that something ate part through, it didn't make it, but there's a new bud. It's doing really well. I can't wait to see what they look. I know what they look like on pictures, but I want to see one in person. And the other one is doing really well too. I don't see any buds on this one here though, but it's really big. It's doing real well. I'm kind of amazed. It's about due for its feeding of rose food. So let's hope we get something before it gets cold. I'd love to see those roses. My Cherokee purples are turning. Awesome. And I have a few others coming along. I told you I was going to take down the garden. The posts and fencing you see right there, those are just the pea trellises. Those are coming down too. They're going to be used to shore up fencing at other places on the property. Yep. I tell you what, there was a doe out here this morning, and she was right there eating stuff off of that trellis. And I was up on the deck and I said, "Hey lady, can you leave my stuff alone?" And she looked at me and she just kind of shrugged her shoulders figuratively and went back to eating. I said, "Are you gonna leave my stuff alone?" She just ignored me completely and kept on eating. They're just not scared. I hope she's raising her sons to not be afraid of being here, because I may have to put one of those sons in the freezer. But yep. And the peaches, I still have a lot of peaches on there. I have to go down there and show you. The elderberry stumps I need to still dig up. This was a grape that the deer kept eating. It was inside the garden. I just put something around it. They can reach down there and eat it. It hasn't produced anything, so I don't know what it's supposed to be seedless, I think, but I don't know. Okay, now that there's no fence here, you can see the breadth of this tree. I mean, goodness. Now, I've lost a lot of peaches. We've had weather, we've had the deer, we've had all kinds of stuff, but there's still a lot of peaches, and some of them are getting pretty darn big. Now, I think there was a comment, somebody said, "Can you splint your peach tree?" And it was somehow the filter caught it, and I'm thinking, why the filter put it in the back room? And I clicked the check mark to allow it, and it just disappeared. So whoever you are, if you were making comments about that, the reason I didn't splint that branch is because it's so high that we can't safely get up there. So if it was slower, I could get to it. We can't get to it. And I'm not having my husband go up on a ladder, since sometimes he can't feel his feet. And that's the last thing you want to do, is send a person up on a ladder who has problems feeling their feet. But yeah, there's a lot of peaches here. And up high, there's a lot. They're getting some size on them. Some of these here are really tiny, but I've actually been able to grab something, do a test bite on some of these. That felt a little softer. And yeah, there's some really nice peaches up there. I don't know how many I'll end up with, but they're getting there. They're ripening. So I guess we'll find out soon. Here's Mace and his girls, his 4 giant barred rock girls. Both Zara and Athena are laying. They're 9. Brandy, the Brahma, is laying. She's 8. But there we go. There is Zara and Jill with the very yellow legs, and Athena and Maddie, Jill and Hector's daughter, who is not young anymore. She's 7 years old? Yeah, she's 7 years old. Yep. This pan, these barred rocks love to walk in a pan of water. Hector taught him that. He used to love to stand in the water when it was hot. Now, can you explain to me why chickens who pant when it's 80 degrees come out here and lay down in the sun to bake? Are you imitating a baked chicken there, Maddie? Don't understand it. They get too hot, but they want to come out here and get too hot on purpose. It's crazy. Chickens are nuts. They do love a good sun bath, I have to say. And watch Mace. He's collapsing. Look at him. He's collapsing in the sun too. He's feather-legged. He ought to be just as hot as they are. Anyway, that's the group you see today. Oh. Well, that's all for them. I've been doing a project today. I told you about that already, that I was going to add to this garden fence here, the house garden. We've raised the height for, well, at least in the front here, it's about a foot higher. In the back, it may be more than that, but we took extra fencing we had and we've done it. I still have a section to do from this gate over this way, about halfway up there. It still needs to have the extension put on there. But I think that'll keep Mrs. Doe out of there. She hasn't ever been in there, but she hangs around this garden, these deer, and I'm wondering if maybe eventually, like they did in the other garden, they will get wise to my what's going on, and they'll just take a chance. I know there's a lot of stuff in here, so it's hard for her to figure out a landing spot. But I tell you what, where there's a will, there's a way with the deer. So I was thinking about something. What do y'all think about this? You see how most of these posts are sticking above the fence here now? I had to put in some new higher posts. What if I did solar rope lights all around the edge of the garden? Already I have a solar light in the garden at the base of that arch, the first arch, and also in the middle, hung from up the top, a solar lantern light. But I was thinking about putting rope lights around it. I'm trying to make it look less junky, maybe a little bit better. I don't know. We didn't take the old fence down. We just added the other one on top of it. Just didn't make any sense to spend all that time. It's hard enough for my husband to do what he has to do, but he got out here and helped me. And so, you know, that you can probably see the top of this fence now, so it's a lot higher. That pear tree has to be really pruned back this year. It needs a big haircut. Like, it needs to be like lollipop sized. It's just way too overgrown. It needs to be trimmed down. That's going to take getting on a ladder. My husband's not too steady on a ladder anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, this tomato plant right here, this Mountain Pride tomato, it was leaning toward this fence. I had to get a piece of rebar and tie it to the rebar, but the doe was eating on some of the leaves already. And I thought, if I don't start doing something to protect this garden better, she's going to be in there. She's going to eat my roses and everything else, and I just have to really get mad at her then. So anyway, that's what's going on here. Next year, instead of planting marigolds around these tomato plants, I'm going to plant basil. I'm going to interplant with basil. I think that keeps hornworms out. GTP, Sean up there in Canada. I don't know if, you may already know that, but I was trying to figure out how to keep hornworms. Now, I haven't had any more hornworm damage because I think I got some of that stuff with BT in it. It's called something called BT. And I hadn't had any hornworms since. I've also been using insecticidal soap on these plants, especially my roses, to try to keep things from eating those. So I have the wood now to do another box, kind of like this one down here, but over there where all those flowers, that like mound right there behind the main arches, I'm going to put a long box over there. I'm going to have to use a shovel and level it out a little bit. I put a bare root peony in there, but I don't think it's going to grow. But I'm going to make another box in there. So we're going to have more raised beds. I'll have to transfer some soil from the other garden area back over here, but this stuff will compost over winter and it will make some nice dirt under there. So that's what's going on in the house garden. And just like I told you, except for those pea trellises in the middle, which are coming out, I'm going to take them down. I'm going to use those sections of fencing to fix other fencing, maybe the pasture perimeter fence. But the garden's down now. This goes, the chickens can go all the way down, all the way to the fence at the bottom, which is almost to the edge of my property. If I went too far down the hill, it would just be too rocky to set a fence. But fence is gone, no more outer garden here. And I'm just gonna, I'll be able to mow it then. I'll be able to take a mower in here and get rid of all this stuff, or get a weed whacker, and it'll be a lot easier on me. So anyway, this is just gonna be pasture now. Just gonna be pasture. I don't know, I might actually plant a fruit tree or something later. That peach tree's doing real well down there. It has full sun, so I may plant a few more fruit trees out here, protected from the hooved marauders, of course. So that's what I said I was going to do, and that's what I did. Hey, Gunner. Aw, look at my Gunner. He's so sweet. He's a good boy, aren't you, Gunner? He is so sweet. He's so precious. And Dane has got the same personality as Daddy Gunner. They're okay. They're doing okay. Yep, they're all getting along and all dust bathing, having a good old time at the end of the day. Yep. Yep. It's been a hot one. I'm about ready for fall. How about you guys? I am so ready for these temperatures to level off. I'm about done. I'm about cooked this summer. I have sweated through my clothes so many times my fingernails are non-existent anymore. Yeah. If you ever see a woman with big long nails painted nice and fancy, just know she don't put her hands in the dirt. I know a bunch of us on this channel do, don't we? Don't we? Don't we, ladies? We got our hands in the dirt. We're doing some real stuff here. So, oh, sorry. There's Axel. Flirting with Dove. And Dove is broody as heck, and she's not going to pay no attention to him. If he does that to Cricket, if he does that to Cricket, she gets all up in his face. He needs to learn to leave Cricket alone. She don't put up with nothing, broody or not. So, wishing you a cooler week upcoming. Let's hope we see a few days with a little bit of a hint of fall. Bye.